Hey, did you know that there's a species of wild cattle that went extinct, but then it just showed up again? Because there is, and it's pretty weird. In North America, there are two extant species of bison, the American wood bison and the plains bison. But until the late Pleistocene epoch, there was another species of bison that lived alongside them called the American bison. And this guy looked a lot like today's wood bison, except it was smaller with a lighter colored hump. But despite its relatively small size, it was still really bulky, weighing between 1,000 and 1,800 pounds. That's the equivalent of about 4 adult male wood bison. And fossils tell us that the American bison first appeared in North America around 1.8 million years ago. And for most of that time, they seem to have been doing great. They were found all across the continent, all the way from Alaska to Mexico. And they even made it through the last ice age, which ended around 11,700 years ago. But when humans started showing up in their territory around 13,000 years ago, things got kind of dark. You see, when the Europeans first arrived, they encountered the bison and thought, hey, these look a lot like European bison, also known as wisons. And because of this, along with the fact that nobody had heard of an animal called a bison before, they named it the European bison. As more Europeans moved into North America over the next few hundred years, they hunted the European bison to extinction. And by the early 1700s, it was officially gone. Or was it? Okay, so at this point, there are two possible scenarios that could have played out. The first is that the American bison actually did go extinct, but then it evolved into the wood bison and the plains bison that we know today. The fossil record does show a gap between the last confirmed American bison fossil from around 11,000 years ago and the wood bison fossils that start appearing after 4,000 years ago. And that seems to align with when people started hunting bison to extinction. So that would make sense. But the other scenario is that the American bison never actually went extinct, but it just kind of hid from us. And we only have fossils because they're basically the only ones who didn't run away. And if that were true, we should be able to find some living relatives of the American bison somewhere. So let's look at the DNA of the American wood bison and the plains bison. Compare it to the DNA of the European bison. If the wood bison and the plains bison are the descendants of the American bison, then they should share more DNA with each other than they do with the European bison. But if the American bison is still kicking, then it should share more DNA with the European bison since they're more closely related. And when scientists actually did this, they found that the wood bison and the plains bison were more closely related to each other than either one of them was to the European bison. This means that the American bison did go extinct, and it died out long before the Europeans even showed up. But here's where things get weirder. Between 2006 and 2010, 4 bison skulls were found in North Dakota and southern Canada that turned out to be a different species altogether. And at first, scientists thought these skulls belonged to an unknown species of ancient bison. But when they compared the skull morphology to the American bison, they realized that they were looking at a creature that hadn't been around for thousands of years. And yet somehow, this creature had managed to hide from humans, from researchers, and from field guides. As of right now, we don't know how many of these creatures exist or where exactly they're living. But we do know that they're not descendants of the American bison because, if they were, they would share more genetic differences with the wood bison and the plains bison. We couldn't say that they were truly wild given that all bison are descended from domestic cattle. So for now, these mysterious bison are considered to be an unknown species of wild cattle. And the fact that they are still out there shows us just how little we understand about the world and how much there is left to discover. Speaking of stuff we don't understand, could you please explain to me why so many people are obsessed with the Backstreet Boys? It just doesn't make any sense.